Good afternoon. Welcome to this panel discussion on live gaming in the online environment. Hello everybody here from Amsterdam. Arjan Korstjens is my name. 12:30 is my time zone. And I'm joined by four speakers from quite a nice geographical spread. Of course, the lady first, Chiara Nick Liam, is from Betsen and is in Malta at this moment. So that's the most southern part of Europe. Then we go all the way up to the north to two guys in the Baltics, Rokas Benitis from Vilnius, Lithuania, representing Leo Vegas, and Marisa Raus, who is in Tallinn, Estonia, which is even more up north from One Touch. And then we go all the way to the south again to the, I think, farmost left point, Richard Walker from Rank in Gibraltar. All experts on live gaming and live gaming in online environment. I think for the last couple of years, for the last 10 years, we've seen that grow not only in number of people playing it, but also in the offer you get on where the people are based, going to local languages. So a lot has been happening in live gaming for online. In the last couple of years, we've seen companies buying each other, companies merging operations and growing there. And that is the topic for this. Where are we going to with live gaming in the online environment? One of my first questions was, because I do both online and land-based industry, a lot of people have moved to the online world. Now the land-based had to close. That means also for the land-based players go play online in live gaming. And was that change noticeable? And I want to ask the question first to Chiara for Leo Vegas. I think you saw the number of people playing live gaming grow. Did you also see other kind of people joining you on the live tables?
Yeah, so I guess, I've been working with live casino for nearly 10 years now in one different way or another. And over the years, it's developed and it's grown significant. And I think, the history and the background that I have with predominantly UK-led sportsbooks, where live casino was a great product to bring customers into because it had that element of trust, as opposed to just typical traditional RNG, blackjack and roulette, was a great entry point for those customers. But I think definitely over the years, the number has grown and we see standalone live casino propositions and products now. We have liveroulette.com as a website for betting as well. And, definitely the appetite and the built-in customers that are there and that want to play live casino has grown massively over the years.
Okay, but did you also see another kind of demand, what people want to see, or how they're being treated, or didn't that change?
No, absolutely, it has. I mean, I think, at Betson, we have a wide portfolio of lots of different live casino providers. But between us and with some of our more recent acquisitions, we also have almost 50 dedicated tables. And this is about offering language variants, different game variants, and lots of different things there as well. So, we know customers don't just want to come in and play live blackjack or live roulette. And certainly with the growth and that shift in live casino product offerings that we've seen over the last 2 to 3 years as well, to more of that game show variant and to different add-ons and extras on top, be it side bets, jackpots, different pieces there. We know that there is a customer demand there for it, and I think it will only continue to grow in the future.
Okay. Rokas, did you see a lot of things change in Leo Vegas?
I mean, in terms of live, obviously, I've been heading a live department there for a couple of years now, and I think over the last 3 years, especially, the growth was phenomenal. I mean, we had pretty much double-digit growth every year for live, and then I expect that trend to continue, considering the type of content is currently being produced, how engaging it is, and the appeal level now of live games spreads much wider than just your classical table game player. With the introduction of these new games, game shows, I think the type of player which is comes and play live games are now much wider audience.
Okay. And Richard, for rank, did you see change coming in? Or what kind of change did you see the last years?
As Rocco says, fantastic growth in live over the last few years, and obviously with rank being a very heavily land-based business, with growing the casino, we see around over 50% of our revenue coming from the land-based players who are playing multi-channel, coming in to play the live games. I have a lot of customers who are retail, come and play in live, and they have everything from the classics right up to the new games. So all the game shows we get from Evolution, obviously I don't have Playtech, but their new offering as well, what they're putting out for the customers. So you get more softer customers and easier point of entry for them.
Yeah. Okay, I'll get back to the new game shows in a moment, but first, Richard, as I think you're of the panelists, the only one who has ties in both land-based casinos and online casinos. Is there a big difference in the offer in gaming? Do you see online a different demand than in live gaming?
Obviously, we can do a lot more technology-wise for digital gaming, and retail are trying to get there now. Gentians have the Dragonfire roulette with multipliers in. We're looking to launch something similar in retail, and the demand for it online is massive. The kind of retail are trying to catch online with their offering, rather than the other way around.
Okay. Maris, you've switched from a more traditional kind of company, Playtech, to One Touch. Is there a big difference between those two companies and in the things they offer, or?
I mean, definitely there is a difference. Playtech is a very mature company already and offering lots of various products, but One Touch is just starting to discover some of the new product verticals, like live as well, which we have seen is tremendously grown during the last years. So we are looking on that vertical as well. One of the big differences also is that One Touch as a smaller company is much more agile and can adapt faster to new market situations, for example.
Okay, but like you said, it's a newer company, a smaller company, and also investing in the vertical called live gaming.
Yes.
Doesn't that mean that you're doing something different from the traditional companies, or are you just copying them? I'm trying to find where is the new time leading us.
I think we are doing actually both. We are trying to create a really good set of traditional games. Plus, we have already some of the ideas on work that are first on market as well. So we are doing both.
Okay. Rokas, you mentioned the emergence of game shows, of new game types. Can you share us what your thoughts on that are and where that is taking us?
Yeah, I mean, game shows as a game type, it only appeared in this industry just a couple of years ago, when Evolution sort of launched their Dreamcatcher as the first sort of non-classical table game variant. The games themselves are sort of coming from sort of more popular TV shows. You currently on offering where you have Deal or No Deal, Monopoly, Dreamcatcher, and other games, which are on a different level in terms of player engagement, and the way they're built. They're very simple, and they're sort of players are given sort of opportunity to enter the game with a very low limit gameplay, so it's more attractable to wider audience, and I think the players feel more comfortable on them because they're much simpler to play as well. They require sort of lesser knowledge level to play them. So I think those kind of games really, what it did over the last couple of years has really opened the door for a much wider player profile for live games. In the past, where we see the specific profiles tend to gravitate towards classical games like blackjack or roulette, But the growth really in the last couple of years really came from game shows, where we saw tremendous, increase in numbers across the board, really.
But did you also see traditional players switching to the game shows, or did you see a new flow of new players going towards those games?
Both, really. I mean, we saw a new influx of players, new players who play, for instance, other types, but also there is a segment now become quite apparent, they only play game shows. And then there's also cross-migration between other verticals even. So the game shows, we see that from a data that they are probably one of the best converting games right now. So we see that the players who tend to land on the game show, they're more likely to convert. And then they're also migrating to other games, moving from trying the game show and then trying the roulette or a blackjack or dedicated tables and so on.
Okay. Chiara, in Betsson, do you see the same thing happening as Leo Vegas is seeing?
Yeah, we see a lot of similar trends. I mean, we compete in a lot of the same markets as well. But, I think the piece worth pointing out as well is the emergence of those game shows came at a really great time when there was an enhanced focus on due diligence and KYC, and people weren't just trying to bring in large live casino VIPs that wanted private tables, but it was a great time as people pivoted more to recreational players and their player base to make sure their casino was more sustainable. So people pushed these games quite heavily. So, there were live casino players that tried these game shows and that would still love to play them. But actually, as we see even with the streamer community, it's a lot of predominant strong slot players that go on and play these game shows. And then, like Ruckus said, they build trust in live casino as a product and as a proposition. And then whether it's within the lobby itself and they navigate to tables or within the live casino website, what we then find is we try and upsell them and cross-sell them to other live casino games, because a live casino customer in a lot of markets can be more valuable than a slots customer. And obviously it depends on, the journey that customer's in their life cycle. But, it's about bringing fun to gaming. People don't want to just sit at home, and we see this, and just grind out on a roulette table or a blackjack table all night. They want to get enjoyment. And when we look at things like that leisure pound and that spend customers have, you get genuine entertainment from playing those games. You get the thrill, the anticipation, the relief when you win. That all ties into what a great gaming customer goes through on their journey. And, in a lot of ways, these products provide a lot of what customers get from smaller jackpot games and definitely from those slots. So it's a great entry point to live casino, and there can be a lot of value from cross-selling and upselling them across to the rest of the live casino estate. I think you might be on mute.
Yeah, I can't hear you either.
Yeah.
No, still not. Just while he sorts out those tech issues, Richard, do you want to take that question and we'll try and get sorted?
Remember it, yeah. But no, in terms of the game shows and stuff, they one from Evolution Dreamcatcher wasn't really a big hit for us, but the new ones with the incorporated enhancement, augmented game rounds, and this kind of thing, so much landed better with our UK audience than the Dreamcatcher did. And Dreamcatcher was like the big six wheel we had in retail years ago, and I don't know, I left retail 10 years ago. And probably 10 years before that, we took out all the big six wheels because nobody ever played them from that essence kind of thing. So these new game shows, the enhancements, the thrill of getting multipliers, in terms of that, this is what customers, or newer customers, let's say, are looking for these days kind of thing. And we've even seen, more hardcore customers who are just probably like roulette players migrate to Lightning, and they don't even care about the reduced payouts for the normal spin. They're still looking for these big multipliers as they're coming through.
Absolutely. And I think, we see the same thing too. I always said that for poker players, for example, we know historically that they trained online to build up experience and then go and play in a land-based casino or in a poker room. But one of the things that we saw as a barrier to entry to live casino was customers not really knowing how to play live roulette or live blackjack and not to make a mistake on the table, for example, if they were sitting at a high stakes table. But, it's much easier to sit in a casino, I think, on a Saturday night and play €5 blackjack and make a mistake with other people than doing that online. But I think that those game shows and just bringing a level of familiarity to it. So whether it's, different things like slot side bets on roulette wheels, or if we look at even things like the Age of Gods roulette wheel from Playtech with that big wonder wall behind it, there is a lot that can be achieved by bringing more familiar aspects into it. Because just like when you sit in a live casino and you see people playing craps, for example, if you don't really understand how to play it, it's fun to watch, but you don't really want to stand up to that table and roll the dice. Can we hear you now, Arjen?
Yeah, I'm trying. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, technique is not working. Thanks for picking up the thread, and again, I could hear you, so that was very, very interesting to hear. Because then it seems that even online is now producing something which has been tried in the land-based industry for a long time, like what Richard said. Because the land-based, stuck to the traditional games we know, roulette, blackjack, poker variants, etc., and slots. But the entertaining factor is a quite new one. Could this be the cutting edge so that the online industry can permanently steal some customers from the land-based industry, even though the land-based is suffering? Hit them when they're weak? Maris, what's your opinion on that?
I definitely see the game shows more appealing to the younger generation that actually are looking for this excitement, entertainment, and also the community feeling that you play the same game with your buddies. I don't think these game shows might attract very well those hardcore gamblers. But some of them at least have those elements that could, like the higher multipliers than traditional table games, for example, which could appeal to the hardcore gamblers as well. But what I see that those like regular guys playing in land-based casinos, one of the things that they definitely might want is the localization. Probably a Japanese guy don't want to play with English-speaking dealer is one of the things. And if we offer them the same local experience that they could get from their local casinos, this might help. And the other thing is marketing, definitely, because many of those land-based players tend to be a bit older. Sometimes it's not a rule, of course, but they might need some more introduction to the online world. And that's what we probably need to offer them as well.
Yeah, and if there is a time to offer that, then it's now. I think every land suffer in the coming years. So maybe in the past they didn't have the need to do it, but now they do have the need. So that, this is the time to get it done. Is that so? In fact, what you're saying, because Maris, that's true. The people in land-based casinos are generally a bit older. So this could be the solution for the millennials. Have been a scary word in the land-based industry. How to catch the millennials, if they're even new. But could this be the solution for that?
No, I mean, the game shows are, you mean?
Yeah, the game shows. Via game shows, capture a younger audience.
Yeah, I think definitely game shows are one of the options, because younger, what I feel that the younger generation actually wants to have those, blackjack, for example, it doesn't have any high multiplayer. But younger generation, I think, is a bit, everything or nothing attitude. And so those game shows actually have this element with those high multipliers to offer for them. So this might be one of the things as well.
Okay. Okay, and Rokas, is that for you the same? Do you see opportunities there to work together with land-based or steal from land-based?
I think that sort of overall migration from land-based to online already started a while ago before COVID, and obviously COVID just expedited this transition. But I think both of them will still have the niche. I mean, I think land-based will still be a land-based customer base, and it's the same for online. I think what Maddie said as well, that with these new games, I think they are probably more socially appealing to the younger audience. And in fact, what we see from our sort of internal research, and that a lot as you go down the age profile, sort of to the more younger players, you see that experience, a land-based, actually goes down. So meaning that they haven't really had a land-based experience. So for them, online that's how they were introduced to the gambling. So I think for sure, I think there will be a convergence, or some of the players will be playing both due to convenience and due to maybe having a local presence of the casino. But some probably will be purely online, some will be purely land-based. In fact, I mean, when you think land-based, experience land-based is not universally, it's based on your geographical location. You might not even have an opportunity to visit land-based. I mean, in one of the markets we're operating in Sweden, there is so much limitation on land-based. You only have like 4 free land-based casinos in the entire country. So pretty much, the way to experience the gambling, it is through online only.
Okay. Chiara, is that the same for you in Betsson?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the majority of our brands are not omni-channel or retail based. As a mostly online company, we do have some countries where a land-based license is required, and we operate them there. But I worked previously with Richard at Rank, and I worked on a lot of the omni-channel projects at William Hill previously as well. And I don't think it's about stealing from land-based. It's about educating a gambling-ready audience in the online market. And that's where the benefit comes in. So it's about making sure that your online experience can match the experience that you have in land-based, or that you educate that customer. So, Richard will talk more about what they do at Rank, but in William Hill, that was about having a in the shops tab. I know when we had COVID, for example, over the last few months at Betsson, and we knew that the majority of our markets, like Italy, for example, customers couldn't go out and bet where they normally bet if they were, let's call them land-based players or retail players. So we tried to make sure, even though it wasn't an omni-channel website, that Star Casino, which is a great brand for us in Italy, had sections where we showed customers games they might like from shops or casinos, and we bunched them up and we made that journey a little bit easier for them. So it's about making sure you hold their hand and you take them on that journey. And likewise, we know that in the sports betting area, and it's slightly off topic, but in that omnichannel approach, that a lot of people will bet online first before they go into a betting shop and place a bet, so they understand the terminology and different pieces there. So I think both have a really strong role where they're able to complement each other. You just need to go about it in the right way and make sure that it's mutually beneficial for everybody.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. We've been discussing a lot on growing your reach, growing your audience, serving multiple countries. That means you have to have quite some scale to serve in local languages, etc. Maris, as you move from a big player to a smaller player, is there in the future room for these smaller players when you need scale to grow and to grow your offer? Because I think in larger companies are much more able to have a broad offer compared to smaller companies. Where is the place for smaller companies in the future versus bigger companies, Maris?
I think probably those innovative games, like the game shows, might be one of the verticals that we might have an edge, because we can very fast turn around the game idea to an actual game. Also adjust and adapt this game according to the market. Of course, we cannot compete with bigger companies that have studios having local language, but I think the personalized approach and maybe focusing on specific market segments is the way to go for a smaller player, at least to start with.
So and then it comes from where the usual cooperation between smaller and bigger companies come in. The smaller one can make the innovation, which is always harder to do that in the big company, and find the new markets, the niche markets, and like the outpost going into new territory. And then when it becomes more mainstream, it can go to the big ones. Like you said, the evolution with all the studios, that is quite an operation to set.
Yeah.
Okay. In the light of company and growing companies, how important or how shocking was the merger or takeover between Evolution and NetEnt? Is that something which everybody saw coming, or was it a surprise, Rokas?
I mean, it's not really. It's poorly kept secret that Evolution were, already looking to expand their reach into RNG. There was a rumor that they were already after Tiger before. So I mean, it wasn't really a surprise, but it was probably a surprise, at least to me personally, that they went for such a big company like NetEnt. So from that perspective, no, it wasn't a surprise, but it was a bit of a shock that they were going after such a big company like NetEnt.
Okay, and will that help bring innovation in this industry? Because there are two different kind of companies with two different kind of products, but it's all about the player experience. So that's the thing they have in common, but in different products in different markets.
I think it could. I mean, obviously they're sort of one of the market leaders in their own verticals. Evolution been driving innovation for a long time in their own vertical, and they were so specialized in what they do and did that really well. I think since they're acquiring a company from another vertical, I think it could actually help to sort of spur some innovation as they blend in their two verticals and create more like a cross-vertical games. Really, there's already some convergence already in Evolution's portfolio where they merge RNG games with a live environment. So I think that could be some exciting new projects coming out of when you blend in the talent those two companies have. And put them into use to creating new innovative products. Yeah.
Okay. Chiara, if you would say, okay, and now there's if we talk about M&A, Evolution and NetEnt, what would be the dream third partner to go into such a merger? Who they have to buy next to make the perfect company in this industry? Chiara?
I mean, that's probably a hard question, and I'm fairly sure they've spent most of their cash that they had in holding on this NetEnt. I think it's quite topical at the moment. No, I know. I think it's not quite topical at the moment because it's such a large merger. But the history of live casino in our industry has been littered with M&A in many ways. I mean, Playtech bought Eurolive originally. We see the live casino offering that Pragmatic has was originally Extreme Live Gaming from Novomatic. Authentic Gaming in the time I've worked with them has been acquired by 2 separate different operators. So there is a lot out there. Azugi was previously purchased by Evolution, and that was to consolidate their market lead in the US. So I think, right now, in terms of an offering, they have a really strong portfolio if they wanted to move forward. And definitely don't take advice from me on M&A, but I think what they would look to develop if they wanted to take a core market stance is a solid platform that people could operate on full stack end to end, because that would really allow them to step up and compete with the big full service operators or suppliers out there.
Yeah, and then if you add in a sports book as well, then they will have the complete. Because that's, I think, one of the original terms of Betson, coming from sports as well, and expanding into live and into slots. Is there anybody else who has a dream marriage, a dream takeover for the Evolution NetEnt, as that could set the idea of the future for our industry? Any other guys?
I think it's big enough from my side. I think I'll be a few years down the line before they actually go into the next acquisition.
Yeah. And the reason for you asking is because that is, for me, if I would say, okay, if you have deep pockets right now, I would invest, if you're online casino or online operator or online platform or online live, the next thing is to start buying land-based casinos who will be up for 25% of the live casinos will be up for sale in the coming year. That's my prediction. For you, combining land-based and online and in rank, Richard, are there, for you, if I can grow this industry, this is what we should add to our offer?
In terms of land-based online, we cover bingo, gaming, casino-wise, and things like this. Whether or not Rank had looked about more of the sportsbook in the high street presence, would this be something that they would look at in the future to bring like a full experience for the customer from that aspect? But in terms of online kind of thing, we cover everything. We've got the sportsbook, we've got poker, live, we've got the bingo with Mecca. We're covered within Ratcha with bingo and casino in Spain, and the same with your bingo as well. I think the only thing we're missing as Rank as a high street product would be just a sports betting shops, and whether or not they want to go down that route, and then we can push our sports book with a much better omni-channel journey within retail and digital spaces. Because the main issue at the minute in land-based casinos is getting a sports book presence for us. From that aspect, everybody knows table gaming, so there are no live, there are no slots. So it's building the bigger presence for all products within our retail businesses.
Sure. Okay. In another direction in future growth, we see some very mature markets for online. We see emerging markets, India, Canada, Latin America. Those are 3 different kind of territories with different kind of players, different kind of people. Rokas, for you, do you, because everybody is targeting those areas, do you also are already changing your offer on live gaming to serve that market better, Rokas?
From when it comes to live, I mean, yes, there are some certain needs for localized content to certain markets, especially in let's say the markets where we have a bit stronger language barrier, where English tables doesn't cut it. That's where we see more need for localized content, and yes, that's the approach we're taking to some extent in some markets. For those markets you mentioned, I think there are a few divergences where you can actually take some network offering from your suppliers and cover that way. There, some other operators we're seeing are going the dedicated route and actually creating dedicated tables just for those markets.
Yeah. Because you go to Asia, India, your table game offer will have to be completely different from the European one. With
exactly.
The
like there are some even localized games where they're not even popular or even known in Europe, where are popular in those markets. So yes.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen crazy table games in that area. Mm-hmm. Where in God's name are they doing there? They're throwing money on the floor. Okay, I see that, but what are they doing? So that's completely different kind of environment. Are you changing your offer to go to those markets, Chiara?
I think it depends on what markets you go into. I mean, I think universally roulette and blackjack are what they are. But yes, I mean, when we look at places like Asia or the African continent and Latin America, you know, we definitely see an emergence of different pieces. And what we really strive to do is make sure we offer the best regionally diverse content to our customers. So whether that's, you know, something in LATAM specifically, or whether it's a version of Turkish poker, you know, we have things like Teen Patty. I know, you know, if you want to compete in India and you want to take market share from there, those are the types of games that you need to offer. So I think as and when we enter those markets and we look to strengthen them, you know, that's when we would say that those games would be really important. But I think if you want to compete in a region, you need to make sure that you understand and you respect what the local games are, and you try and compete on that front rather than just thinking that, you know, your European games are going to work in every region, because we know that's not always the case.
No, that's definitely not the case. If you talk about LATAM, the first thing you have to do is offer in Spanish or Portuguese, because I'm already every time surprised I go there. Their level of knowledge of English is almost non-existent. Even younger people, they don't speak English because they don't need to speak English. They speak Spanish, and they can do with Spanish. So local language is for LATAM definitely one. But for local games and local habits, like you all say, blackjack and roulette is kind of the same, variants of poker as well. Melis, could this be something for a smaller, outgoing and leading company to start and search there for the niche markets, or is staying within Europe in the more mature markets a good idea for finding new offers, Melis?
Actually, those emerging markets, specifically like India, LATAM maybe as well, but more of the Asian side, there are some specific games, as mentioned already, Teen Patty and also Under Bahar. And like entering Indian market, if you have those games to offer, it's a lot easier to get your feet between the door. Even if you go live on the Indian market then later, and finally the games that perform are still baccarat or roulette, then those local games actually help you to get on those markets. So that's for sure one option for a smaller player to implement those games and just start trying to get on those markets.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. In my other screen, Ahmed has been giving me the signals from 10 minutes to 5 minutes, which is about 3 minutes ago. That means that we will have to conclude here. Everybody, thank you for your input and your opinion. It was very insightful for me. The best thing, what I heard and what I did not know, is that the online industry with the game shows is able to cross-sell from slots to live gaming to traditional live gaming. And that is, I think, a very surprising part, because for that I can say sure the land-based industry was not able to innovate that. So I think that's a big pro. I would like to say for all of you to have a last word. Melis, your last words. What would you something you want to say to the audience?
hard to be first. Definitely, we will see lots more innovation on live casino. I mean, the first game shows that have been out already like some years. I think there will be definitely more game shows, more innovative game shows, specifically maybe from Evolution now, if they will conclude the merge, having some slots elements or some very interesting bonus games. So it's going to be a really interesting years ahead, hopefully, for the live casino new game types.
Thanks. Rokas, any last words?
No, I'm just going to echo what Maddie said. I think it's exciting times ahead for live. All these new game types, I think they sort of generate much more like socially appealing, socially acceptable, gameplay. I think it's definitely going to bring more customers in, and we're definitely I think we're going to see some, incredible new games coming up very soon.
Okay, thanks. Richard, last thoughts?
Yeah, in terms of guides, in terms of new innovation coming from all the live casino providers, I think there's a lot coming in the coming years. And I think now we're seeing more of a change to like the community games and building out something where customers get more community in there as they're playing the games rather than just being a single person themselves.
And last but not least, Chiara?
Yeah, I think that the live casino proposition today is, almost unrecognizable from what it was 10 years ago. And I hope in 10 years' time we continue to see that. I think, what we offer today is the product for customers of today, not just the customers of yesterday and 10 years ago. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what the customer of the future and the product of the future has and how we can shape and continue to educate those customers and bring them on that journey.
Okay, thank you all for your time. I hope it was people enjoyed listening to you. I did, so thank you very much. And hopefully soon we will see each other in a more live environment and not from everybody's study, living room, bedroom, kitchen, wherever. I'm even getting fed up here and want to go out. Thanks for your time, Ahmed. Are you taking over again, control?